Hello, welcome to From Dial Square to Where. Wasn't expecting to be doing a show at nearly 10 to 11 tonight. Like I said earlier, I've got man flu, but I thought, fuck it, I need to get a bit of ranting done. So with me, I've got Ryan, Mr. Arsenal. How you doing, Ryan?
Hi Andrew, thanks for having me on. Can we have one weekend where we don't have to watch that basically from our club?
You can just, I pretty much predicted everything that's going to happen on Twitter earlier on because it's so easy to do. The only thing I got wrong was Mesut Ozil staying on for the full 90. Apart from that, got it spot on again, pretty much same as last week against Crystal Palace, and you can just tell exactly what's going to happen. And I can't see us winning another match under this manager at the moment. I struggle seeing where we're going to get a win from, to be perfectly honest. And it's not fun, is it?
I can't. The fact we got a bar for, as I said on my own channel, apart from push 5 players at Liverpool squad on Wednesday, we got knocked out by kids.
That was the. I don't know. I ain't bothered about the Liverpool game, to be honest. I thought it was a bit of light refreshment.
Bothered me, as I said to you before, what bothered me was not in fact we had a stronger team in general and a stronger bench. At one point we were 4-2 up. At one point, and cruising, and then we just threw it away.
I know.
And it's the same.
It's not ideal, is it?
It's the same we're going to have today. We weren't cruising,
I know,
but we're winning. And then takes off his only defensive-minded midfielder that protects the back four, even though he wouldn't allow him to do that in the first place. And 2 minutes later, we're 1-1.
I know.
And then we almost lost the game.
I've been asking a couple of been asking a couple of journalists on Twitter to see if they can do some background checks on Unai Emery to make sure he's actually a qualified coach, because I'm just wondering whether he's just good at interviewing. He ain't got a fucking clue. I was wondering whether anyone's actually checked his qualifications, because he's the only person that can't see things that everyone else can see. You know, I don't know where to start really, but I think a couple of players have had a bit of unfair criticism. Let's just sort of go through. I don't want to go through like individual players. Well, I want to go through some individual players, but defence-wise, I think Tierney in my eyes, I think he actually had a really decent game today. I was quite happy with Tierney, and he's come in for quite a lot of criticism. I think David Luiz is had a decent game, and some people were saying he's got to go. I'll keep Socrates in the team rather than David Luiz, and that really fucks me off, because if we take David Luiz out of the team, we've got no leadership on that pitch whatsoever. And he did some good stuff today, David Luiz. He had did some good stuff.
Definitely.
And Socrates, for that goal, he was just standing there like a lamppost. He did
ball watching.
I know. He didn't
ball
move.
watching.
And Callum Chambers, people were slaughtering him for that goal as well. He actually tried to bail out Socrates. He didn't work, but he actually tried hard to get to that ball with his head. Socrates did nothing at all. And rest of the game, like I've said 100 times, I'm like a broken record. He can have 85% of each match, 90% of each match. He can play well, look good, but every match, bar none, he'll do something like that and just inexplicably just stand there in the middle of the box and not even make an attempt to get to it. And that was his man. And I've had enough of him. But midfield-wise, I mean, like you said, Torreira, why he got taken off, I've got no idea. I was actually pleased with the first sub when he took off Laka, because he looks out of sorts to me. And I'm not blaming him, because he's been out for a long time. And he hasn't got his sharpness back or anything yet. He just looks a bit off. And when he brought on Martinelli with, I think, what was it, about half an hour to go? I was really pleased. I was shocked.
35 minutes, yeah.
I put on Twitter, wow, what an amazing substitution. I was chuffed to bits with that. And then he goes and utterly
Throws it away.
makes a diabolical decision by taking off Torreira and putting on Saka. And I mean,
and then literally the last couple of minutes added a double insult to the injury by taking the left back off. The left back.
I think I can only assume I don't know whether I think it must have been down to a bit of a knock or he was absolutely blowing out his arse. He didn't look like he's blowing out of his arse to me. Kieran Tierney. But Saka, I don't know whether I'm alone in this, but Saka, I love the kid, but I don't think he's doing much at the moment to warrant his place. I don't know what you think, but he's not really done anything brilliant lately. Last few matches he's played.
It's like he's been. It's like after that one game against Frankfurt, well, he did well. Don't get me wrong, but it's like Emery's like, I've got to use him every game, no matter what. If it's starting or sub, he's got to play him or something. And it's overusing him. Because he's overusing him, we're now getting burnt out with Saka. And he's like, he's got to remember, Saka's only 18 years old. He's a kid. You've got to ease him in.
Well, do you remember? Do you remember the preview show we did on your channel for the Sheffield United game? And I said on that show, didn't I, about I said I'm probably going to get pelters, but I think we should play a 4-4-2. Do you remember that conversation? Well, after those, 2 games after that, we played 4-4-2, didn't we? You know, that was a bit strange, a bit weird, but he don't even play that right, for fuck's sake. I mean, I was talking about 4-4-2 with 2 wingers, Pepe on one side, Saka on the other. He don't even do that. He plays like, I don't know, some kind of...
Ceballos and Ozil on the wing.
Jesus.
For some bizarre reason. He was basically doing what Wenger did for a couple weeks back in like I think it was at the 15-16 or the 14-15 season when he just played Ozil or Ramsey out on the wing. Just there you go, fill up a role. There you go.
Well, I don't know
because there's an injury. Walcott's injured, so there you go, sort of thing. It was just it's a 4-4-2. You went to.
Well, wasn't
our glory is a 4-4-2.
Supposed to be the tip of the diamond?
It was meant to be, but obviously it was 1 minute he's there, then he's then he's at the wing, then he's back, then he's not. He's having to obviously track back because if he doesn't, for God forbid, if he doesn't track back and defend, he gets hooked off.
I mean, we look a different team with Ozil in it. No one can deny that. After Wednesday, the first half, obviously, we score a goal as with every single game, and then we get so deep.
Go back.
Our defence is so deep that Leno's having to jostle for position with his own defenders, and it's just I don't know what goes through his mind, because the team that we've got is capable of pushing, right at the top of the table, no question whatsoever. The skill and talent we've got in those players in the squad, and I'm going back to last season now, and I've mentioned it a few times on Twitter now this evening, that the absolute ideal guy for us to get in is Rafa Benitez. And I don't care what anyone says. He would immediately change that squad, get us completely organised, virtually overnight,
and defend,
and defend, obviously, but also he will get us into a situation where we're progressing over the next 2 or 3 years. Even I'd say if we had him for I don't know, the next sort of 3 to 5 seasons, we'd be in a great position. And people said, well, he's in China. Well, I'm sorry, but if we came knocking, he wouldn't even bother packing a suitcase. He'd just get on a plane and come over. There's no way that he'd turn down Arsenal. And he's the perfect guy.
Plus, he loves coaching the Premier League.
He's only just left the Premier League. Exactly.
Chelsea, Newcastle.
Yeah. He knows it inside out. And the fans love him. And wherever, Liverpool fans still love him. Newcastle fans adored him, as we all know. And people say, well, he plays negative football. But you don't. He's one of these guys he's such a clever manager. Well, no, he's such a clever manager. He plays to the players' strengths that he's got. Unlike Emery, Emery doesn't know his players' strengths clearly. But if Rafa Benitez has a better quality squad than he had at Newcastle, he will play better quality football because he knows what he's doing. It's not rocket science. That's what he would do. He wouldn't play utterly negative football. He would play football suiting the players that he's got. But
the guy went to Champions League.
Exactly. He won the Champions
League.
Liverpool, Chelsea, when he was there on a temporary basis, he won them the Europa League, even though they hated him and they were chanting him, Benitez out, whilst he was like winning them the Europa League. You know, he's a professional. He knows what he's doing. And I personally think he's absolutely perfect for us at the moment in our situation. I can't think of anyone better. Allegri has got a language barrier, and he's not used to the Premier League. I was
watching the press conference before the Liverpool game, and they were obviously asking about Xhaka. About 3 times the press was asking him, lost the armband, and every time they got a different answer.
I know.
And I'm like,
Jackie, you mean? Is Xhaka lost the armband?
Yeah. Has he lost the armband? They even tried turning it. What are you telling me? You cut the armband then? No. So, what is it then? Because you're saying he hasn't kept it. Then you're saying he's kept it.
I've listened to the whole thing. Yeah, no, I listened to it all on the Arsenal website. And one thing that stood out to me as well.
A brick wall.
He said, without being prompted, you probably might have seen my post on Twitter. I said, without any kind of prompting from the press, he said, if you're going to ask me where we prefer to play, we always prefer to play at home in front of our own, where we feel safe and secure in front of our own fans. And that just shows how shit we've been in as an away team for the last fucking 18 months. Well, I know we weren't exactly setting the world light under Wenger the last couple of years either, but that's not a good mentality.
But it also shows his mentality. But yeah, that also shows his own mentality. That he's not trying to drill that out of him.
I know.
I mean, God forbid he tried to do, but
well, every single performance now is the same. It's got the same pattern, isn't it?
And as you said earlier, literally, I've noticed it. Quite a few times, even last season, even at the early stages of last season, we'd score a goal home or away, unless we're cruising that game against Fulham, for example. So aside from that, every team that come up against us, we'll score a goal, and for the next 10, 15 minutes plus, after scoring a goal, we'll then go on and put more pressure on like Man City or Liverpool would do. Oh no, we just sit back and put the sound lounges up and try to soak up the pressure.
Well, like today, defenders gather around talking to Leno.
It's like at half. Yeah, it's like at half time. He's told the players to basically go back outside and just park the bus basically and try to protect a 1-0 lead.
Well, we ain't very good at parking the bus, are we?
Emery, no, and under Unai Emery, we've played Wolves now 3 times in the league. Out of 9 points, we've got 2.
Dreadful.
But the balls. This is the thing. What I've been saying, especially this week, because obviously with Josh Kroenke and all that, saying what they said about the expectations themselves, what the club to be, get back in the Champions League, this, that, and the other as soon as possible. Do they actually really believe this guy at his moment in time can do that? Because as it stands, because of the result today, Chelsea got on and won later on in the evening. So
what was their final score, by the way? Chelsea
2-1. Chelsea 2-1.
Yeah, I didn't get to see the final score, but I mean, bloody hell! It's going to be out of sight
in 5 minutes.
Next weekend, we're going to get screwed over big time by Leicester. It's going to be embarrassing, mate. And top 4
we're going to get double figures away from top 4.
I know it's going to be
double figures away. And then then the board have to ask the question: Is this the right person to take us and turn this around? And week by week, we are getting worse. Let's be honest.
I mean,
we're 2-0 up. 2-0 up last week against Palace,
Hmm.
and we threw away a 2-0 lead.
Well, you probably saw on Twitter
And we
what I
shouldn't
put
be
about
relying
that.
on VAR to not fuck up.
No, when me and my middle lad, because my oldest lad was out with his mates last weekend during the Palace game, and I was just watching the match with my middle son, my 12-year-old, and he's following me. He's getting into a right moody person with regards to Arsenal at the moment, negative. But we scored 2 goals in 2 minutes, and I literally turned to him. I said, "Well, the sad thing is, you know what's going to happen, don't you?" I said, "We ain't going to win this match. We're going to throw it away." And lo and behold, we don't go for a third goal. We just, like you said, just turn the switch off and we coast down a hill, and we're trying to sort of. I don't know what he does. I can't even describe it in words of how we play after we've gone a goal up. And what's been our last 4 league games? Can we remember? Obviously,
Right.
Palace last week.
Today's Wolves, Palace, Sheffield United. I'm trying to think now.
It's
Who's
hard to
before
remember,
Sheffield
isn't it?
United? I'm trying to think.
I'm trying to blank it out of my mind.
Bournemouth.
That's it. Yeah.
Bournemouth at home.
So 12 points we've played for. We obviously lost against Sheffield. We got 3, lost against Sheffield United, which I just knew. Well, I just knew we weren't going to get anything out
5
of the
out of
game.
12.
I said in your program, didn't
5
I?
out of 12.
Yeah. I said in the preview, I said we won
break.
all. I said 1-1, didn't I? And
yeah.
So yeah, it's just embarrassing. So 4 points out of 12. No, 5.
As you're saying, I'm literally putting all the points together. Literally 5 points out of 12.
5, yeah.
You take out the Bournemouth game. For the last 3 games since we come back from the international break. 2 points out of 9.
I think it's worse before that though as well, isn't it? I'm sure I saw some stats saying that it's been worse before that. I'm going to what have I done with my phone? I'm going to bring it. I'm going to have a quick look because I'd be interested.
Even today, the stats for today's game? Like we had 7 shots, something like that.
That's
79 shots. They had nearly 30, and they had nearly 30 shots at goal.
I haven't seen the stats, so to be perfectly honest, I'm not even going to go and rush out and see them because it'll just make me even more angry, if I'm honest. Let's have a look at the results then, shall we? A bit further back than the Bournemouth game. Let's have a look. Matches. Results. Right. So. Right. We've got. Let's go back to. Right. Obviously, first 3 games of the season. We've got Newcastle, which we won, Burnley, and then we've got Liverpool, Spurs, where we were 2-0 down. Watford, we threw away 2-goal lead. Drew Villa, very lucky there, 3-2 win. Man United, 1-1. So let's start from the Villa game then, shall we? So Man United, 2 points dropped. So 1 from 3.
Yep.
Bournemouth, 1-0. I don't know how. So that's 4 from 6. Sheffield United lost. So that's 4 from
4.
Then we got Palace.
4 from 9.
Yeah.
Yep.
Palace, 2 points dropped from being 2-0 up. So it's 12. That's 5 from 12. And then today, so 15. So it's 6 from 15. It's just a joke. And realistically, I can't say I was expecting anything against Wolves, to be perfectly honest. That's
no, I wasn't either.
Even though we were at home. So it's just a really sad state of affairs the way things are going, because there's a whole run of games there. It was widely known. We had this, Project 32 that started on the Arsenal Vision podcast because of the run of games we've got up until December. And at that point, when he, I think he launched that thing, that Project 32, and he started talking about it, or was it might have even been Project 36? I can't remember, but anyway, because of the run of game, 12 games that we had. Yeah, it must be 36, Project 36 then. And at the point, I think we just about won the first 2 games of the season. Was it just around the sort of the Man United Spurs game? Anyway, I went through that list of games out of the possible 36 points, and I remember putting it down to 32. I think I put, because of the teams we were playing. How stupid! How utterly stupid! And I feel like a right idiot. You know, we'd be lucky to get half. But the way things are going, we'd be very lucky to get half. And then when we go into the Christmas period, oh my God, don't bear thinking about. We've got to do something. And if we don't get top 4,
December we've got West Ham away, City at home, Chelsea at home, in December, and Brighton. I think someone else as well. And then on New Year's Day, we've got Man United at 8:00 on New Year's Day.
I don't know.
Plus an FA Cup match after that.
The only thing they can possibly do is change it now, because it's too late already. Yeah. We should have done it ages ago. And I was calling for Rafa Benitez really loudly before last season ended, when it started to collapse. And
it's like this new regime was cut up, as in since the Gazidis ran off after putting us in the crap. It's like this new setup has come in and gone, okay, let's give him this enough string and see what he does with it. Like Gary Neville said last year about when Emery first came in, he gives certain players enough string. So they've done their own part. Okay. And come to summer, they've obviously gone out financially backed him financially. No matter what anyone says, they did. 72 million one player, for example. David Luiz. Martinelli was a few in, but obviously no one had heard what a steal that's been. So touchwood so far. Kieran Tierney, 25 mil plus add-ons.
Yeah,
so they have backed him, but it's not seeing what he does with that. That's the string. That's what he does with it. And from that, and basically, if he doesn't hang himself, the quicker the better. Basically, so he could get, because Emery wasn't hired by Raul, Vinay, Edu, and Josh.
Well, that's why I don't understand.
Ivan was the one that Ivan was the man that literally gave the thumbs up. So he's like, as I said, does with it, and then if he hangs himself, fantastic, because then they can chop him and get who they want him.
Well, I think he's if you're playing a game of Hangman, I think you're only looking for one letter. If you're playing a game of Hangman like you used to do on a bit of paper or when you were a kid, I think you only need one letter. I think there's three. I think you're looking at 3 words, and it's sack him now, and it's probably got the O missing on the now. You know, that's probably all you need. You know, it's ridiculous.
To be honest, I'm surprised. Even though you said what your thoughts on the Liverpool game, because of the manner of what I've said about it, 16-year-olds against, even though it's our own second string. Liverpool, it was literally 16-year-olds that knocked us out. It was like their 4th choice goalkeeper in goal that saved a penalty. Yeah, he conceded 5, but so did our goalkeeper, who's meant to be our second choice. Yeah. 2 of them goals he should have done better on. But it's like, I think, I'm hoping, in one sense, that the board are just like playing it out now. This next 7 days, got a Europa League game on Wednesday, and then we're playing Sunday against Leicester. I'm assuming so anyway. No, Saturday, because obviously we're playing Wednesday, so they've moved our game to Saturday evening.
Yeah,
I think no matter what happens, it'd be a miracle. It's not like the players just turn up at Leicester and go, "Hi guys," bang out and turn out Leicester like that.
I think Brendan Rodgers is probably got. He's got.
The subs as well today. The last 2 subs, as you mentioned before, I've been saying to people, it's like outside the ground. It's it's like doing it. He wants to. It's like £6 million payout.
We've got some comments on the stream here from Paulie B AFC. We're about 8 points worse off at this point than we were last season. What do you think about Mourinho and Allegri? Mourinho, I'd rather gouge my eyes out and eat them, to be perfectly honest, than have for Mourinho. Allegri, I mentioned it earlier. I think the problem with Allegri is that he's got no Premier League experience and he doesn't speak English, apparently. And I think not more than anything, that's completely wrong. We need to have a manager that's got a clue what he's doing. But I think we also need to have someone that we can really feel good about and get behind. And I think Clive made this comment on the Arsenal Vision podcast, saying that we need someone that we can actually, properly love over time. And Rafa Benitez has got that with the Newcastle. We all know how the fans really loved him there and at Liverpool. And I just think he's the perfect guy, personally. I really do, because he would just organise it. What he's done with Newcastle is nothing short of a miracle over the last few seasons.
Because if you think about it, he came into a Premier League club that was on the verge of going. They did go, but he stayed with them, stayed loyal. He lost a lot of players, but built a squad good enough for the Championship to get them back up. Wasn't given the backing though once he did get up, and with the same players of Championship level, massively overachieved. In the league, and it still didn't get backed, and people wonder why he had to jump ship.
It's a waste that he's over there.
Because his aspirations are of being coaching a club, as in you're playing European football. And if you think about it, what he did at Newcastle as well, with that that ilk of player, imagine what he could do with the players that we've got here at the club now.
Well, exactly. And I think he would.
In a sense, we've got Pepe.
I honestly think he'd get us top four, and he'd probably win us the Europa League as well, to be perfectly frank.
Yeah.
I'd be so confident.
With him and his structure and how he sets teams up from the defense first, then going forward, we would get third comfortably with this squad.
I think
he was in charge. And
he'd probably get backed in January as well.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if we got Upamecano in January, or another. But I think he'd get backed, and I think he would achieve what we need to. So yeah, I'm fully behind that. But whether anything like that would happen, I don't know.
So if he was to come in as well and achieve and get us in back in the Champions League, or the league and Europa League, and win the Europa League as a bonus, the board will fucking love it, because then they can back him even more. They can literally go and give him even more funds of what they were planning to build on it, so they don't fall back and be a one season wonder sort of thing. Literally build and build again. And with a coach like him, you're telling me Rafa Benitez, a guy that came at Liverpool in his first season, and Chelsea, and what he did still doesn't have attraction to get the top players in.
Well, I think that the squad that he had when he was at Liverpool and won the Champions League, I mean, it wasn't as strong as it is now. They had a good team. They had Gerrard, obviously, and so on, but they weren't like a full team packed with world-class players, were they? It's just a lot of that was down to,
as well.
Yeah, and they had Gerrard. We've got Aubameyang. He could have the same kind of influence as Gerrard had for that final that they played. And we should be right up there with no worries with this squad that we've got. It's our strongest squad. Like I've said 100 million times, strongest squad, I believe, at least within the last decade that we've got that players that we can
Hand
put on that
sound.
pitch, and it's just wrong. It's just utterly wrong. I mean, midfield wise, what are your thoughts on Ceballos as it stands right now? Say you're Edu right this moment, and Real Madrid's president said, "Right, I need an answer off you right now. Do you want to buy him or do you not?"
Oh, bloody hell. If it was Unai,
You have to make a decision right now. Do you buy him or not?
Yeah, I personally would, but I'd have to get it'd have to be under a different head coach, because under this head coach currently we're not getting the best out of him. But I believe in it under another head coach we can get even more out of him, because we've seen glimpses of what his potential is.
I think there's a player in there.
It's a risk worth taking.
I honestly think there's a player in there.
It's a risk worth taking.
I would keep him as long as it wasn't. I mean, price-wise, as long as it was no more than 40, and that's pushing it. That's pushing it, but as long as it's no more than that,
40 mark.
Because of his age, I would take him, and I would have him as the Xhaka replacement. I think he is press resistant. He's as press resistant as they come, really, in our squad. And I think that, yes, he needs to learn a bit. But again, if we got someone like Rafa Benitez, he would he probably knows him as well from when he was, I don't know whether they may have crossed, but I'm sure he may have come across him. Anyway, with someone like Rafa Benitez, he would iron out all these issues that Ceballos has got. And you can see that he's got the skill. He's definitely got the attitude. I love his attitude. I mean, he made one amazing tackle today with that when their right back got injured. What's his name? They Wolves' right back. Doherty, yeah. He made that brilliant tackle, and he does that quite often. And I'm pleased. He was getting pelters today, big time. And again, he's a number 8 in my book. He's not a number 10. And people keep saying that I'll play him instead of Ozil, blah, blah. He's not a number 10 in my book at all. He keeps either getting played there or wide left. And he's got no consistency at the moment. So he's a number 8. The trouble is, in our squad, we're top heavy with number 8s, I think, because to me, Guendouzi is a number 8. Willock is a number 8. Ceballos is a number 8. Torreira, number 6. He's he should be a number 6. And I think we've only got really one number 10 in Ozil.
Yeah.
Potentially in the future, we may be able to play Smith Rowe as a number 10, maybe even Nelson as a number 10 potentially. But at the moment, we've got Ozil, and that's it. But Guendouzi today, my thoughts on Guendouzi, he seems to, he needs to learn an awful lot. He's showing his inexperience because everyone loves Guendouzi. I'm no exception. Another one with great character, great ability, but at the moment,
he does switch off. He did switch off a few times today, especially in the first 10 minutes.
He tried to take it on himself. He tries to do everything. Right at the end of the game, I think there's only less than 5 minutes to go. He took the ball. He had someone to help him. I can't think who it was, but he was right on the far touchline, and he tried to do it all himself. He didn't lay the ball off to the player that was supporting him, and he tried to take it round to the players. He lost it. He lost it, and they went up the other end and created a chance. So he needs to learn an awful lot, and I don't think he should play 90 minutes every week at the moment.
But there's another thing about Emery. He literally brought him in last summer, had a good pre-season, and then just threw him into the Lions' den. Man City at home, and then literally played because he was okay. He just threw him in every match, literally non-stop. He's never been eased into the league. He's just been thrown into the lions, but so to speak.
No,
There
no,
you go. Learn your trade that way.
I know. I'm just reading some of the comments as well from Poorly B AFC. There's a lot of potential in Danny. Hearing about 50 million if a deal can be reached. Well, I wouldn't want to go that far, Paulie, if I'm being perfectly honest. Torreira plays where he wants, he said. I don't think that's the case, Paulie. I think he possibly gets a bit overexcited, but I think he's following orders, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Sarcastically, and I know this is probably being a bit far-fetched, but sarcastically, I put on Twitter earlier as well that I wouldn't be surprised because it's easy to spot that Emery don't like him. He's got something against Torreira. He wasn't his choice. He wanted Donzonzi. And I wouldn't be surprised, and it was a very tongue-in-cheek comment, but that Emery is doing this on purpose to bloody Torreira to try and show that try and discredit him as a player, to say to the board, look, you bought the wrong player. And something inside me is telling me that he's doing that on purpose.
But the board will just go back to him and go, well, hang on then. We've got footage of his international foot.
Of course.
We're going off to Uruguay.
Of course. But he's not playing in that. He's not playing him in that role, is he?
No.
And he's making Ferreira look stupid.
But in turn, it's backfired. But in turn, today, it backfired on him.
Of course
it made Emery look even more stupid.
I know.
As I said, your only defensive-minded player, you took him off at 1-0 for an attacking winger. What do you expect? What was he expecting to happen? Because literally, myself and everyone around me was like, "Oh, okay, we're not winning today then." And literally within 2 minutes, bang. And personally as well, Leno should have done better with that, getting down to that, because it was right in the far corner. It was literally right at him.
I think he had a good game overall. I mean, the stupid commentator.
Overall, he had a good game.
Oh my God!
Overall, he was fantastic.
Tony Gale.
That saves he was making.
Tony Gale was the co-commentator on the stream I was watching, and what a wanker he is, Tony Gale. And he said, you don't remember that really good, smart save he made? It wasn't like a massive dive, but it was a really big pile driver. I think that was Doherty as well. And he got his hand up to it in a split second, and he got enough on it with a really strong arm to knock it out the danger zone as well. And Tony Gale, he's so anti-Arsenal, it's unbelievable. We always get those commentators, those co-coms that are anti-Arsenal.
Oh, of course they do.
He said, it's just an easy save, it wasn't anything to mention about. But I thought that was quality, that was.
But, if that was Alisson for Liverpool, we'd be singing these praises.
Yeah. And another thing...
I don't know what's worse, the punditry or Adrian Durham. And his views of
Adrian Durham, I'd run him over and then I'd reverse over him again and then I'd run him over again. Fucking hate the cunt.
I don't think you're the only fan that Arsenal fan that wants to do that, or fan in general.
In fact, I think Danny from the Bergkamp Wonderland had the opportunity to run him over. And I think he regrets it now. He banged on his car. He was reversing. He banged on his car and said, "Oh, what are you doing?" And he looked back. It was Adrian Durham. I went, bloody hell, that was one opportunity missed. But
I would have chased after him.
Another person that's had a bit of stick, and I just can't get my head around this one either, is Chambers. I think he's absolutely playing out his skin at the moment.
He was solid today. He was actually solid today.
I know, he's barely I don't think he's put a foot wrong, really. And people are blaming him for the goal, and I think that's just so unfair. That it's just
the ball didn't even come in from his side. It was coming from the left side anyway.
He did his best to bail him out.
But it was Socrates, as you said, it's just standing there, ball watching. David Luiz is fucking having to do 2 man's work in central defence.
It just drives me mad. People just got it in.
But yet, because Chambers isn't Hector Bellerin, if it was Hector Bellerin, they wouldn't say anything.
No, I know.
Because it's English Callum Chambers. Oh, we've got to slag him off left, right, and centre. Yeah, you get behind the kid. The guy's a versatile player for a start because he can play right back, he can play centre back, he can also now play CDM.
I know.
But at the moment in time, he's playing right back and he's doing a good job, all things considered.
No moaning. He ain't moaned about being left out after he had a really good performance against Newcastle. He just got on with it, didn't he? And he's straight. I think I put on Twitter earlier that he almost seems like a new player, new signing this season, because he just seems to have improved dramatically following that loan.
But it's also it's like he has a point to prove to Unai Emery, because Unai made the last minute decision to let him out on loan last year.
Yeah,
like he's come back with a vendetta sort of thing.
I know.
And I think it was against Forest where he played right back, centre back, and left back in one match. And afterwards, he came out and said, "No, Emery was having a go at me for getting too far forward. He wanted me to stay back." And I was like, he said I ignored him. X, Y, and Z certain goals. But even that just speaks volumes. The players are not even listening to the man that was his head coach.
I know. Got to get out of that habit of calling him manager.
Yeah, but it speaks volumes when your players are not even listening to your instruction. But I know we mentioned it before. A certain person we don't want to take over, but he was there again apparently today.
Was he? He's just prostituting himself all over the place, isn't he? He's there like a fucking wasp in a beer garden in the summer. You just want to go away. The dirty smell.
Just
get him out of the.
Yeah, it's just desperate for work.
It's you went today. You bumped into a few other high profile gooners, didn't you?
And Sam.
Paulie B said he was there as well. Whereabouts do you sit? Have you got a season ticket or?
I know I'm a Purple member, so because I have epilepsy basically, and obviously because of that, someone comes with. My brother comes with if he's working, there's someone else come with me. But I'm usually put in the lower tier clock end, block 25.
Right. I was always when I was a season ticket holder at Highbury, I was at the North Bank. That's where I always was. I don't know where it is. I just always prefer to be looking at the clock. Yeah, I
was up till last season. I was in Wenger's last season. I was in the North Bank, and for some reason, they started giving me seats in the clock end. So yeah, just take it as it is.
Yeah. What was the atmosphere like there today?
It was full game against Wolves. It was all right. Atmosphere wasn't until Terrell went off and the people started questioning it, and then obviously 2 minutes later the goal goes in. Then the place was just flat, and the Wolves fans then piped up. And we almost quite easily lost it. And I don't know if you saw in your stream, literally the whistle went, chorus of boos throughout the whole stadium.
Yeah, I know.
Because of the disappointment. And yet again, because as we both said, the performance we're in single fit. We played 4? If we include the game of 4, international break, 12 points available. We're literally on single figures still, or points wise, and we're leaking goals left, right, and centre. We're not looking stable.
Who's Spurs got this weekend?
They've got Everton away, I believe. Yeah, Everton away. Yeah.
I just hope they get something out of it. I hope they lose, because the good thing was last weekend when we drew against Palace that Spurs lost against Liverpool, didn't they? And so that's a 1 point extra between us and them. I just hope to God that this 1 point we got today counts for something. If they can lose against Everton, then fingers crossed. At least we get something out this weekend, because anything is. Well, Man United lost as well, which is good.
I was about to say that. That's the only positive I can take out today so far, this weekend so far, in the sense of we're a point ahead. We're still, even though we dropped points. We've pulled a point further away from them again. But to be honest, we should be way ahead of them.
I know.
With the sort of players we have.
I know.
the squad of players we have, but it's just is either he doesn't play the right formation, or he does it. He plays the right formation but doesn't play it right, or he makes the wrong subs. As I said earlier, it's like he's making certain the last two subs, especially today. It's like he wants to be sacked, and I can even say that about Wednesday. He's taken the 4-2 up, and he took Ozil off, and he took Torreira off. It's like he's making subs to force the ball's hand. It's like he wants that payout.
I don't know what's going to. I mean, we've got the Europa League again on Wednesday, which is like I couldn't give a monkey's about, to be perfectly honest. And
I think it's away to Victoria, and then we've got Leicester on Saturday at 5:30 in the evening.
Well, Leicester.
Or wait.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, at the moment, Leicester and Chelsea are going to get the final two Champions League spots.
They're walking away. Yeah.
We've got to. That's why we've got to take anything we can, and if we can keep some kind of distance between us, United, and Tottenham,
the others.
Because at the moment, realistically, it could be us five battling for two spots. So any distance we can keep between us and those lot down the road is important, because if Leicester or Chelsea do start going for a little mini slump, we've got to capitalise on that. But the only way anything like this is going to happen is if we get a new manager. I'd be quite happy if we don't go for someone like Benitez. I'd be quite happy to have Freddie Ljungberg on like I said before, on a caretaker basis, because I think he will get the same kind of initial lift that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had.
Yeah.
They looked unstoppable for 19 games, I think they won, or close to.
It was ridiculous though. I think they lost like.
It won't take a lot.
It
wouldn't take a lot
for them to come. I'm trying to think. It took for them to come to us. No.
Yeah, we ended the.
It was literally the Wolves away, and I think it was us, and then Wolves away that ended the league run.
Yeah,
and that was in April, end of March, early April.
Yeah,
when that happened.
I know, and
if anything, Freddie would get a bigger response because he was actual first team player in the sense of he played week in, week out.
I know,
and achieved a.
Well, the whole squad love him and respect him. They'd run for a brick wall.
Even the kids as well, and the fact that he worked for them last year, and then he's obviously got his promotion to the first team, and he's brought some of them up, saying he's actually recommending them to the head, Emery, saying even like to Burton and all that in the pre-season, like these are the sort of players for the future that can step up, basically.
The problem we've got with him, is if we don't go with him, because the club thinking a hell of a lot about him, and
there must be.
He's showing
him so quickly.
He's showing an awful lot of promise, and they absolutely love him there, and he wants to be a number one. And if he gets overlooked for anything and held back, we'll lose him. We will, and it's going to be a big decision, because he looks the real deal. He just looking at him just makes you think he's going to be a manager you'd be proud of. Just the way he is, just his demeanour, his appearance,
his mannerisms,
his confidence, the way he got booked against Sheffield United, and it'd just be someone we can all get behind and all love. And it's not going to take an awful lot to sort this team out. All he's got to do is play the right players in the right positions, and give him you take the handbrake off. It's not going to take a lot.
The thing is, obviously our generation of fans love Freddie because we've seen him play, but even the younger generation are seeing what we saw, but obviously as a coach, so to speak.
Yeah,
I think after the 2014 FA Cup win, when they did a members' day in that summer.
Yeah,
I had to work that day. My little brother went there, and obviously they've all come out, and then obviously Freddie's popped out, and then they're going around taking selfies and all. And then Brendan's like, "Can I have a selfie?" Yeah, so took a photo of him. He then went on to sign my brother's shirt, and he had trained. My brother took his trainers off when he signed his trainers.
Oh, wicked! I would have got.
And he was like a pig, but he's rubbing it in because he knew obviously he was my hero of player. He's like, guess what I saw today? Freddie Lundberg was like, you fucking lucky fucker.
Well, my missus Dawn, she's not a football fan, and but even she loves Freddie Ljungberg for obvious reasons.
I can't think why.
Everyone loves Freddie Ljungberg. I would have got him to sign my arm, and then I would have got it tattooed over, I reckon. So it stayed on there.
I remember to get when I was as a kid. Literally, he came in with the red strip in his head, that red strip in his hand, because he was doing so hit the ground running.
Oh,
that was like going the craze within the Arsenal fan base.
He was such a good player, though. I mean, can you put yourself back in those years when we had him on one side and Perez on the other, and they were both good for 15, 20 goals a season? I mean, Jesus Christ, we really took that for granted, didn't we? You know,
just a tad, yeah.
That's not even taking Henri's goals and Bergkamp's goals into account. It's just ridiculous now. We've got goals from nowhere, absolutely nowhere. If it ain't for them, you know. And people want to take David Luiz out of the team, and I've been saying for all along that he's good for probably around 8 goals a season. He's already got 2.
Well, what was it?
You know?
Even Gilberto when he was at Arsenal, I think it was these 2 seasons where he was scoring 8-10 goals a season. I remember last season at Highbury in the cup, what is the League Cup? It was called the Carling Cup back then. Was away to Doncaster, and obviously we're about to get knocked out, and literally he ran the length of the pitch.
Yeah.
As he did, and then obviously scored the goal that put us into a penalty shootout. But it's if we take that for granted as well, that drive that's like Roberto, Vieira, Petit.
Well, what about
Vieira? Mark Overmars.
Vieira as well. You know, that
Vieira was something else.
Willock goal against Liverpool in midweek really reminded me of that Vieira goal against Newcastle.
Yeah, we just
so similar. And you know, the thing is with Willock, he's been completely disrespected as well.
Of course, he has.
He's absolutely disgusting, really. And that's why he's a number 8, because of his powerful running with the ball. And he's not number 10. He's been played as number 10. You know, he's not that. Yeah. It's just, you know, you can really damage these young players' careers by mismanaging them in their when they come into the team.
I think what doesn't help things is we've got certain fans are going to have another platform when they get an opportunity and slagging the kid off. In fact, literally, he scored the FA Cup against Blackpool. He scored 2 goals. Was it 2 or a hat trick? He's not good enough for our club.
I know.
I'm like,
Eddie
he's kicked on since then.
I know.
Still not good enough. Like, stop it! You can play. This is the same person that slagged off Perry Groves at a charity match.
Oh God!
We're scraping the barrel. What was it? We're scraping the barrels because he's not a recent legend. Are you having?
Fuck off!
Do you know what these players achieved in their individual eras?
I know. It's a joke, mate. Honestly, it just makes me so
disrespect. It shows that certain part of our fan base hasn't. There's disrespect they show that current players. They're showing that same disrespect to actual legends that won stuff and achieved great things with this club.
Well,
and it etched into our history.
Honestly, I don't know. I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but I think I can actually spot a good player when I see one. Right, I honestly can. I honestly think that Eddie Nketiah has got what it takes to be. Remember, we always wanted the fox in the box, the goal scorer from 6 yards out. Who's just thought he's got a knack of being there at the right place, the right time. Not there to score worldies and dribble it into the box or bash it in from 25 yards. Just to be in the right place at the right time and knock it in. When we bought Freddie Jeffers, and that's what he was supposed to do for us. Eddie Nketiah's movement and quality in the box is really reminiscent of Ian Wright, and that's why Ian Wright, I think, sees a little bit of himself in him, and that's why he's taking him under his wing, and just to give him coaching off his own back. And
he's going to an advantage of his own back week in, week out, and putting up with it ready after every game.
He's not just doing it up there. He's not even getting played, but he's still outscoring Bamford, and he's doing it for England under 21 and all. He's doing it for the England under 21. He scored 2 in his last match, I think, as well.
Yeah, I think he's scoring for. I think he's scoring for fun when it comes to the under 21s. It baffles me how the Leeds coach doesn't put him ahead of Bamford already, because he's had time now to be there.
Well, the fans.
I don't rate Bamford anyway.
No,
I've never rated Bamford in the first place.
He's rubbish. No, he should go work for his dad's company, JCB. But he's got it. He's just got it, Eddie Nketiah. He's not going to, just because he's not one of these players who has got all the skills like a Ronaldo, it doesn't mean he ain't going to be an effective player. Yeah, exactly.
He knows where the goal is.
And he
made his debut, and literally within seconds of coming on, I think it was 30 seconds, he's scoring goals.
He was quality in pre-season. If you watched all the American matches, he was great. And but he gets written off by so many of our fan base as well, saying he's not good enough.
He's not a big. Because he's not a foreign big name.
Yeah.
If it was some weird, like, example. I think what was it, Martinelli? No, I rate Martinelli, but he gets more hype, and
because he's got the skills.
I think Eddie should be I'm saying even Eddie. I think we should be giving Eddie Martinelli's getting with abundance. He's only been in the door 5 minutes, whereas Eddie's been here for a while now.
I know. Well, it's because people like the flashy stuff, don't they?
I want the big Brazilian name.
I rate Martinelli. Yeah, Martinelli's
so do I.
Fantastic. He's going to be an actual star. I think he's within the next couple of years. I think he's going to be one of the best players around. I really do. I think he's going to elevate himself very, very quickly, because he's been after this since he was 14. His mum and his parents have got his own nutritionist and trainer. They did it off their own back, didn't they? From when he was 14 years old, and he's been playing against men. So yeah, he's been ready for this, and he needs to play. He really does. I think he needs to play every Premier League game, like in the last 20 or 30 minutes. He needs to come on. And we need, because the vultures are going to be swirling around him already, I think. He's the highest scoring teenager in all of the 5 leagues around Europe at the moment already. 7 goals.
That's amazing in itself.
I know.
Where we brought him from? He was like, the 2nd or 3rd division of Brazilian football?
4th, I think. Yeah.
Even 4th.
Yeah.
And we brought him in, and to think, mate, again, as we've said on, I think you're on here and on my channel, you've been on my channel, to think Man United didn't think he was better than Marcus Rashford.
It was 2 years ago. He's been to Man United twice. He's been to Chelsea, apparently. He's been to Barcelona, and they all didn't think he was good enough. And I'll tell you what, Barcelona will be after him within a very short space of time.
Will do now.
But I think I said it on your show, he's able to play for Italy as well. I think he's got an Italian passport, dual nationality. So a lot of the Italian teams are going to be after him without a question. Well, I think everyone's going to be after him pretty soon, because he's just showing. But he's got so much sort of South Americanness about him, but also the work rate he shows is very British. You know, the way he presses from the front. I haven't seen another player like that for a long time. He literally, he's like a wasp as well, isn't he? Around, in the beer garden, just won't leave you alone. He just he presses so well from the front. He tracks back and works so hard to get the ball back. He's very, very special, very special. So we've got to look after him.
And I think nurture him in the right way.
That's the only bad thing about losing on Wednesday, is the fact that that's another cup competition that he can't play in, unfortunately.
So now he's got to wait 2 months now for the FA Cup.
Well,
depending who we
yeah,
get in that.
I think we've got 3 matches left in the group of the Europa League, rather.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, then January,
Whether they call it next year.
he's got to be in the squad every week, and he's got to come on with 20, 30 minutes to go, I think, in the Premier League, to keep him moving forward and to keep him really interested, because we don't want his head being turned. Not yet.
No.
He could play for us well, if you think about it, he's 18. If he plays till he's 32, that's 14 years. He could be by far and away our highest ever scorer. He could be, absolutely smashed Thierry Henry's record. If you think about it.
Be part of, with the right head coach and setup, he could be part of something amazing domestically as well.
Absolutely.
And on a European level, if, again, we get the right head coaching, so to speak, with the right ideas that nurtures the players.
I mean, another good thing about
he's 18 and he's finishing of an ilk of somewhat of a Ronaldo in the sense of
it's great with
what
his
we're
head.
getting now from Ronaldo.
Yeah, I know. He can use both feet, use his head, and he can play anywhere across the front of the pitch. And he doesn't see himself as a striker, but he could be one of the best strikers in the world. You know what's exciting is that, and this is not, I don't think this is a pie in the sky or pipe dream. I think he could be the successor to Aubameyang, and Nketiah could be the successor to Lacazette. Genuinely, because they would complement each other because they're not the same type of player. So we could actually replace our 2 strikers without having to pay a thing. So that's quite exciting, really.
It's just, it is. We've just got hope in the meantime that what we've been told by the likes of Josh after the transfer window closed and all that, what their ambitions were, that they are actually true. Because if that's the case, Uno won't be with us for long. And as I said earlier in the show, they'll then go and get their own man. That'll be their choice, who they believe in that can take them to the next level and push us back to where we used to be.
Yeah.
So then the younger players aren't much, and they'll see all this and buy into the philosophy and be more inclined to stay when big other clubs come forward. In the meantime, they'll be like, "No, I'm happy here."
Yeah. Well,
because we remember back in the late 90s, early noughties, when Wenger first got up in the 98 onwards until 2007 at the latest.
Yeah.
Until Vieira and Henry started leaving, in that 2005, 2007, that era, that couple of years, the majority of our squads never wanted to go. They were always happy being at Arsenal.
That's right. I know. And
they never wanted to leave and move on to like a Madrid or Juventus. Let's be honest, but after Vieira for years and years and years had Madrid calling for him, and then obviously Henry for Barcelona. Obviously Petit and Overmars in 2000 came running.
Wenger himself as well. Wenger stayed, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
He could have gone anywhere he wanted several times over.
And he had offers numerous times from Madrid, Barcelona, AC Milan, Bayern Munich, even on the international side of it from France as well. But because of the success we were having, not even he was happy. He was happy. He bought into his own philosophy in the sense of it's working at Arsenal. It was being a success, and he didn't want to rock the boat and risk jumping ship, and everything he's built fall apart in the aftermath of it.
It's just loyalty. It's pure loyalty, and I've said this a few times before as well, but I wish I could find the original quote. But I'm pretty sure it was Bob Wilson who said that, and this is going back to the days of Highbury, though, and the pure class of the club. And he said, when you're a player, no matter where you go, no matter where you leave to go to, every club you ever go to is a step down from the class of Arsenal. And so many, good legends from the history of the club say the same. That even if they go somewhere and they win stuff, it's not the same. And there's so many examples throughout the years of people leaving, thinking that the grass is greener, and it ain't, and they don't achieve anything after they leave Arsenal. And there are marked exemptions from that rule, of course, but I think there's still.
More recently, Fabregas went to Barcelona, achieved what he did there in the silverware sense. But he wanted to come back. He was begging to come back because he realised that, as you said, the grass isn't greener.
Yeah.
And it was better for him being at Arsenal than it was being at his boyhood club. He bought into the dream of playing for his boyhood club again, and he realised it backfired, and he wanted to come back.
People say
and re-establish himself and prove himself.
Well, people question things that Ceballos has said as well. And before he came, he stipulated that he didn't want there to be a buy clause and all this sort of stuff. That was before he even set foot in the club. And I think it took no time whatsoever before he suddenly realised, and the quotes that he's come out with since as well. Of course, he can't. He's on loan, so he can't say, "I want to leave Real Madrid." In case nothing happens, he's got to go back to Real Madrid. So he's kept Real Madrid sweet as well. However,
of course,
he still made it pretty damn clear, and not only with his words but with his actions, how much he's fallen in love with Arsenal.
Also, it's who he's speaking to as well, because as it's been made clear when he came, he had an interview on the Arsenal YouTube channel, and he said he was growing up as a kid, a huge admirer of Jose Antonio Reyes.
Yeah.
And watched him at his time and obviously grew up when he was growing up, watched him at his time at Arsenal, and obviously with the passing of Reyes back in June, in the summer, he did reach out to his dad and asked him what their experience was with Arsenal, and what he's heard of positive things. But it's, again, that's what I'm trying to say. It's the people he's talking to, the right people, the people that have had the experience years gone by. That can,
yeah, I'm sure he's probably spoken to
have first-hand experience of what it is to be a part of Arsenal, either as a player or a member of a family of a player. I mean, there is a banner being put up since, I think it was last week, obviously for Reyes at the Emirates. It just shows our class that, yeah, it didn't work out, obviously, the way we wanted it to, because he was a fantastic player on his day.
He was purely a family guy who was desperately homesick.
Yeah, it was literally just, he came to a country where it isn't hot, and he was missing his family. He was a young boy. You got to remember, when he came to us, he was 20, a very young man.
Don't forget as well, this summer he was going to come and work with Arsenal. He was going to be a coach. Desperately sad, isn't it?
Very. He was the youngest at it.
35.
Cliche aside, he was the youngest of Invincible.
He made a big part in that second part of that season. He only joined in January, didn't he? Yeah. He played a massive part in Invincible's season.
And even kicking on to the following season and the beginning of that.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. Yeah.
The Middlesbrough home game comes to mind. Literally, what was it? We were 3-1 down, and a flick of a switch, and we literally pulled it back, and then it was his goal that put us back into the lead.
He was taken
by, I think it was Bergkamp. His feet were something else. He literally flipped it with one foot and literally hit it with and curled it with the other. It was fantastic. He was a fantastic player, as you said, but it was just down to the fact it was publicised that back then. He was homesick.
Oh, he got the piss taken out of
And
him.
he missed his family. And
It's where he comes from in Spain as well.
got the
It's
opportunity to
a very
go family
tight-knit
oriented.
community. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's
And obviously coming, and again, that's a cultural shock coming to England, any part of England.
And I think that's what Danny Ceballos did. Danny Ceballos is adapting really well with regards to things like the food and the climate as well, which is really important.
Yeah.
The other thing we haven't talked about. Sorry, go on. The last.
Yeah, as I'm saying, as I said about his age, but he was 20 when he joined us, and everyone, they slagged him for the time, but we still do now. But he was a kid. He was a young kid, but he tried. He stuck it out for as long as he could.
Yeah, I know. The other, it leads on quite well to what I was going to say now, but talk about, and that's Pepe. The fact that he didn't play today when he had the chance to play alongside Mesut Ozil is unfathomable, to be perfectly honest. I can't get my head around that. Why he didn't play have the opportunity to play the front three everyone wants to see behind Mesut Ozil. It's just he's just coming into fucking form and all. He's just started scoring. He's playing really well, and he takes him out of the fucking team. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with this bloke? For fuck's sake! He
scores 2 feet.
Oh,
what was it?
He was the best player.
The winning goal.
I know.
That winning goal. Emery just sat there like smacked ass. And since then, he's been dropped. Coincidentally,
he's just coming into form and let's take him out the fucking team. Yeah, that's smart, isn't it? Jesus Christ, what is wrong with this bloke? Why have we been stuck with this bloke? It's just why us?
I'm beginning to think he didn't want Pepe, but the club did. But obviously, he being the head coach, he doesn't really have a say in that sense. Here's the players. You're the head coach. That's your job.
He was our best player last weekend and the weekend before, I think, attacking wise. And against Sheffield United, he was the only one trying to do stuff. And
only one trying got subbed off. How dare you try?
Oh my God! Why did we fucking have to end up with this fucking useless Mongol? No, I shouldn't say that word. Sorry.
Because there's a man. I think there's a man called Ivan Gazidis that wanted to spend us over one last time before he ran off and left us in the crap. I think that's another. I think
so depressing.
With our fan base, if you look back in January when Sven Mislintat decided he decided he was leaving. I think he was told you're not wanted by the new setup. And our fan base at the time sort of went, oh no, it's the end of the world. What are we going to do? What is Raul doing? But they've got their own ideas. I mean, Raul was part of the board setup that's oversaw arguably the greatest club in football history at the moment, as we speak, in that Barcelona era of dominance. Danny Alves was like 2 mil.
Apparently, Raul was known when he was at Barcelona for being really ruthless, and he's let this go on too far already, and I can't get my head around the fact that he's still our manager.
As I said, I think I said earlier, I think they're just holding out till literally next Saturday evening, and then they can finally give him the axe then, because they've got then effectively 2 weeks to take their time and either give Freddie the job on a part-time basis to the end of the season, or bring someone else in who they want. Because
we need an uplift. We need an uplift before next weekend. Otherwise, we're going to get humiliated. We are going to get humiliated.
I personally think they wanted to bin him back in after Baku. But obviously, they wanted to give him. They wanted to give him, as I said earlier, the rope to hang himself because they'd only just come in, so they thought give it because we never really got back. So they was like, okay, we'll back him this summer, and then we'll see what he does. And he's gone backwards. How can you improve on a squad of what we had? Improve on a squad and go backwards.
You see,
get worse.
What people say is we haven't got a style of play, blah blah, which is all true, but we literally haven't got a style of play. We literally have got nothing. We don't have any tactics.
We don't even have a template. We don't have a template. Nothing.
We are playing like a pub team that go out on a Sunday with no manager. They just try and organise themselves on the pitch. Because we're playing like we've got no specific formation and no idea. And people say that Emery's, he's more suited to like a mid-table type club, a smaller club. But he's not suited to any club because there's no formula behind the way that we play football. There isn't any. We could do just as good if we didn't have a manager or a head coach. The players on the pitch would probably do better if they were just allowed to organise it themselves. And I'm convinced that that's the only way that we won against Aston Villa and a few other. It's also the only way we got back into the game against Tottenham. It was nothing to do with the manager. The players took it upon themselves to think, "Fuck this, we can't play like this," and they've got a bit of professional pride about them.
And one of them being, with all due respect to Rookie and Guendouzi in that match, literally taking the game by the scruff of its neck.
Exactly.
I mean, it's obviously I rate Lacazette. He in that game, in them games, Lacazette, Aubameyang, even Pepe got an assist in that game. People don't talk about it. He got an assist. It might be the greatest touch or whatever.
I know.
He got an assist that got back in the game. But it's them players, Guendouzi, that game took the game by the scruff of the neck. It wasn't him bellowing. Because there's nothing I've noticed of him this season. He's not doing what he was running up and down the touchline he was last season. That sort of stopped.
Yeah.
As I said about 5 minutes ago, when Pepe scored that winning goal, everyone else is around him celebrating. He's just sat there, it sunk into his seat with a face like a smacked backside.
Well, do you know what other thing that really annoys me about him? When he's standing on the sideline and he starts milking his throat. He like goes,
Oh no!
Oh my God! It makes me feel sick. Just don't do it, please. I just can't stand looking at him anymore. I just don't know what he's doing here. It's getting to the stage where I physically hate the bloke, and I don't want to be like that. It's not healthy, is it? Against your club, but I physically can't stand looking at him anymore. He's doing nothing. He's not doing anything to.
I think it's no. Because I looked into it as well, and it's no coincidence that all these other clubs, even Sevilla, where he won 3 European Europa League,
they still hate him. I know the fans hate him.
They can't stand him. Zenit fans can't stand him. What was it? Whoever Valencia the Valencia fans loathe him.
Did you hear?
And PSG couldn't stand him in the end.
I'll take it. You listen to the Bergkamp Wonderland podcast, yeah.
Yeah, Bergkamp Wonderland, yeah.
Did you hear the one the other week with there's a French girl called Lana on there who supports PSG? But she's
rings a bell. I think so. Yeah, I remember.
But she gave a really interesting account of what French fans think. Obviously PSG fans think of him as well, and she's really clued up on him and same as me. I was never happy from the moment he was, because I didn't know a lot about him when he was appointed. So I did my research on him, and I think I might have said this on your podcast. I've said it a few times where you should disregard what the press say about him and his former club say about him. You should listen to the fans, because that's where you get the truth. And none of his previous clubs' fans have anything good to say about the guy. And that really put me off from the moment he was fucking appointed our manager. And that's why I've always been sceptical. And when it came to the end of last season and we started chucking it all in the bin when we had third in our hands, that's when I first started venting and talking about getting Rafa Benitez before anyone else snaps him up, because he only had 5 or 6 games left of his contract at Newcastle. And that's when I started going on about it then. And people started saying, give him a chance. Well, I wasn't going on what he'd just done with us. I was going on his whole managerial record. And that's why I've been against him for so long. And I've been biting my lip because I don't want to come across as some kind of, petulant fan who just chucking his toys out the pram. I actually know what I'm talking about, and it really frustrates me that people just think, "Oh, give him chance, give him time. He hasn't got this player." There's always some excuse. There's always something. So, well, wait for him to get Bellerin back properly fit. Wait for him to get Holding back. No, because it doesn't matter who he plays in the team. He always gets the same result. He is the person that got one of the best teams in Europe with Neymar, Mbappe, and Cavani up front with a 4-0 lead, lose 5-4. 6-5 to Barcelona. Granted, Barcelona are a brilliant team, but they're not the same team as they were previously. But he still let slip a 4-goal lead. He can't even defend that. What is wrong with this bloke? He just can't. He doesn't have any kind of tactics whatsoever. What other manager would have that array of attacking talent, go ahead in a match, and then tell everyone to sit back? There isn't another one. There isn't a manager in history I can think of to do that. There's no other manager working in any of the top 5 leagues that will tell their team to do that. And it's not just like the players taking it upon themselves because they're scared or whatever. You look back at every team he's ever managed, they always do the same. And that's why he gets hounded out of town by the PSG fans.
And also the Europa League as well. It's like the winning the Europa League gets you an automatic spot in the Champions League, yeah? So for him to win it 3 times in a row, he'd have to be knocked out of the group stage 3 times in a row.
And have you seen the league finishes of the team? When he won the Europa League? He just about scraped into the Europa League.
Yeah, I think one season it was 5th, and then others it was even
8th,
lower.
I think. Wasn't one finish 8th?
I think so, yeah. And Zenit, he didn't even last Zenit Petersburg, he didn't even last a season there.
No.
I think, and I keep saying it, James, who's on my channel, told me, because he spoke to a Valencia fan, he spoke to a Valencia fan, and he said the second season is always when it gets worse, basically. And we're seeing it now.
And James is the most positive Arsenal fan, backing Emery up that there is on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
He would never say a bad word about anything or anyone to do with Arsenal.
No.
It's just
he's not done his research, and that's what he's found out. He told me that he said that.
I'm not
end of last season.
But God, I just wish people. Well, I've got no say against anything, but Harry Symeou from the Chronicles of Aguna.
Yeah, Symeou, yeah.
He keeps bringing up the fact that he was against Emery from about last Christmas.
Yeah.
I made a podcast out of all of the phone calls I made to the Chronicles of Aguna show, and I put them all together, clipped them, put them all together, and created a podcast out of it. It's still out there on my channel, and I've been saying it a lot longer than he has, and I mentioned about Rafa Benitez back then, and do you know what? Also, before the end of the season, I mentioned about having Freddie Ljungberg as caretaker manager, and I got laughed out of town. You should have seen the comments that came up on the screen at that point. So I've been saying it for a fucking long time, and obviously, no one listens or whatever, and even if they had, it wouldn't make a blind bit of difference. But it just, I like to know stuff about my own club. And all. I did read, like I said, as soon as he was announced, I didn't know much about him. I looked into it, and that's why, people you get labelled as some kind of negative, fan who's not happy with anything. And I just want the best for Arsenal Football Club. And I had immediate alarm bells when I started looking at what fans were saying about him and everything, and the way these sides play football. And I don't like to say I told you so, but I've known it from the word go, to be perfectly honest. And it's so annoying that he's still here because he ain't got a clue what he's doing, and he's showing it week in, week out. And I genuinely think that all of the players must be absolutely fuming behind the scenes and talking about him behind his back, got no faith in him whatsoever. And they all probably want him out bar none.
Yeah, I think I heard rumours going about that basically even the youngsters are like imitating him behind his back. Like
I saw that as well.
Good evening and things
like
that.
They're taking the piss out of him. Yeah, I read that article yesterday.
And I think the senior players are doing the same thing, but also some senior players have gone into have took their frustrations out, speak by liking other Arsenal fans' actual posts that you got on Instagram or on Twitter. I mean, one of them later on retracted it, but they still liked it at the same time. And then the Aubameyang was like something. I think it was Aubameyang. Like
DT, it was Laka and Aubameyang.
Yeah. And also Laka liked one of Troops' posts. I think it was
that was it. It was
Instagram.
Troops. Yeah, that's right. It wasn't DT.
Yeah. But yeah, and that speaks on as well, because it's well known how close the likes of Troops are within Aubameyang and his family, certain members of his family, and Lacazette as well, and certain other players. And for them to obviously like whatever post that he puts out, and it's a negative thing based on Emery, that's just be speaking volumes as well. Not just to the rest of not just to our fellow rivals, but to our own club, our own the board itself.
Yep.
And I think it was last week, last Sunday, there was reports going around that Josh was at the gate. He pulled Emery to one side, so you got till after got between now and Leicester to sort it out. You're out. And I'm hoping that it's the case that they stand by it.
I hope that Edu is staying behind after every match, like he did against Sheffield United, to speak to the fans. Because I think
with Edu as well, it's what encourages me about Edu, obviously, because he paid for the club. He knows what it is in the glory years, what it was. He knows what it means to the fans to have that success and get us back to them days. And this is a guy that's turned around Brazilian football. It was on a downhill spiral, and he's literally come in and he's turned it around for him.
Well, he must be mates with Freddie Ljungberg from years ago. They must play together. Can you not? Honestly, no one can tell me that behind Emery's back, Edu and Ljungberg are not having a chat and thinking, "What the fuck's going on here? What kind of dog shit? What kind of dog shit football are we playing?" And I don't understand. I just can't get it in my head why something hasn't been done yet, because Edu has got the power to sack Emery. I'm sure he has, because he's the one that's setting the whole blueprint throughout the club.
Yeah,
I don't understand what's holding them back now. I really don't, because
I think it's just literally seen out these last couple of games for the international break.
Yeah, but that's too late. It's too late. It's another 3 points.
I know it is, but it's them trying to show that they haven't done something. Because I think in their head they've already got someone in place. If it's Freddie or not, they've got someone in place, but they don't announce it straight away and be seen as a bad, unclassy thing. They want to be shown as being the classy thing, as in he'll be gone Saturday evening at some point. This time next week he'll be gone, and give it a few about halfway through the international break, it'll be announced X is our new head coach, and we move on from that.
Well, I think that if we don't get top 4, I genuinely fear for the long-term future of the club financially, because it's going to make a terrible situation.
Sorry, that's the other thing with this season, because obviously if we don't get top 4 this season, it's that 4 years on the trot. The club themselves know. Josh has pretty much put it out there. They know they can't afford not to get Champions League football this year.
No, I know.
Be it via the league or Europa League, they know. So it's on there. It's in because he's been so public about them knowing that. It falls on their head. They don't act quick. It falls on their head even more so.
That's why every single point is important, and that's why I can't believe they haven't done it after the Sheffield United match at the latest. Because
I would have done it back in Man United game.
Well, I would have done it after the Europa League, obviously. Before personally. But
I'm saying this season wise.
This season, every point is precious.
I was expecting, because of the manner of our defeat in Baku, I was expecting there to be an announcement within 24 hours of him being sacked because of the manner of the defeat. Because the whole reason he was brought in because he had that reputation of winning Europa League finals.
Well, he should have been left in Baku. He should have been left in Baku and say, "Make your own way, mate, because you ain't going to come back with us."
But he literally got battered by someone up to that point hadn't won a single thing in his entire life.
I know.
He literally went up against someone who's never won a trophy at all and got battered.
I know.
But he lived off the league specialist. He
got schooled in coaching by Chris Wilder against Sheffield United. I knew we weren't going to get anything against them because he's worked his way up from and been hugely successful all the way from the conference.
Yeah,
he knows. He's streetwise. He knows how to get results. Whatever you say about him, he knows how to get results. And we got schooled and played off the park by a team of League One players. Yeah. And people are saying our squad is not good enough. So people are saying our squad ain't good enough, but we got beaten by a team of League One players, mate, because they knew what they were doing and they were organised.
And also, they battered a team we only just beat this season in Birmingham. They battered them today, 3-0.
I know.
It was 3-0 in the end. We only just got past Burnley. So what does that say about our squad then? Under Emery, sorry.
People dare tell me our squad ain't good enough, then they can just go and fuck themselves because everything points to the fact that, if you know what you're doing, you can coach a team of, no opers to beat a good team if you know what you're doing.
Well, any football man or woman, so to speak, that knows their thing about football, basically, will know you put these exact same players at another club together, they're in top. They're literally third, second.
Do you reckon you could?
Any other club?
Do you reckon off the top of your head you can name Liverpool's starting 11?
Right.
Let's try and do it, right? Let's compare our strongest 11 against theirs.
All right, yeah. All right, Ederson in goal.
Yeah, that wins. That Emerson wins, obviously.
Right. Right back is
Trent.
Right back is Trent Alexander-Arnold. We have Hector and a normal normally when he's fit.
Yeah, the
little Chambers.
Fully fit prime players, right?
Yeah.
Bellerin and Chambers. Bellerin and Chambers against Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Johnson. I was going to say Andy Robertson is very close, but they come out top. Except I reckon Kieran Tierney's got just as much potential as Robertson, and that goes from again what fans say about him, not just from Celtic fans, but Scotland fans in general who support other clubs. He's 2 years behind Robertson, and he could be better. than Robertson in the long term. And that's what a lot of pundits say, ex-professional Scottish players and the Scottish fans. So it's tight, but at the moment they will shade it. Liverpool. So clearly Van Dijk would as well. And was it Matip or who would say Matip or San? What's he? Oh God, what's his name? The other Liverpool centre back who played against us on Wednesday.
Oh, Gomez.
Thank you. I was thinking. Yeah. Which one should we use? Matip or Gomez? Because lately it's
based on form we'd have to go at the moment Matip. Based on form at the moment, because Gomez has come out from injury. I think normally Klopp prefers to play Gomez, but obviously there's been an injury situation, so yeah.
Well, let's just give our player the benefit of the doubt here and say Luiz, because of his experience, because of his overall skills. He playing behind a decent midfield who know what they're doing would be a lot more protected, and he would not be making the mistakes that he has made. I rate Luiz. I'm sorry, I don't care what anyone says. He's never played behind such an unorganised midfield in his life. And his record at Chelsea speaks for itself. He is not as error-prone as people think. It's widely known that he's only given away 3 penalties since 2011 till he came to Arsenal, where he gave away 2 pretty quickly because he's left exposed with midfielders and attackers able to run at him with will. Yeah. So I'm sorry, but he's a better player than he's shown, and I rate him. So I would say Luiz. So let's move on to the midfield then. And we've got Fabinho. He's better than anything we've got.
Yeah.
Who else have we got? We've got Wijnaldum. Now, he's the interesting one because he's people seem to forget that he was at Newcastle and he barely got by at Newcastle. They let him go, didn't they? And he went and resurrected his career. Where was it? Did he go back to Holland after Newcastle?
No, literally from Newcastle to Liverpool. Newcastle got relegated in his first season.
I thought he went somewhere in between. I think he did, but I might be wrong.
I'll double check.
But he's not. He knows exactly what he's doing, and that's why he's looking so good. But he's not a world-class player, is he?
No.
Would you say who could we put him up against from the Arsenal squad? We've got Guendouzi, Ceballos, Willock. Yeah, I'll probably say that he was the only. I'll probably put him up against Guendouzi, wouldn't you, with the position-wise?
I'll say Guendouzi.
I would say Guendouzi.
Been playing this year.
I'd say Guendouzi over him. Then, so we've had Fabinho, we've had Wijnaldum. Who else in their midfield? Who am I think missing?
Henderson.
Lallana. Henderson, yeah. Well, Lallana, he's only just come back into the team, really, hasn't he? I mean, Henderson, even the Liverpool fans don't like him. They don't want him playing.
He's a cup captain. He's won a Champions League title.
You've got to think about the potential of our players under a good manager as well. I'm sorry, but again, people who eventually listen to this and watch this will probably take the piss, throw pelters at us, but under a manager who could coach Ceballos properly, I'm sorry, but he's a better player than Henderson, technically. No, I don't. I think he is. I honestly think he is. He makes mistakes and he does things, but he's not getting any guidance.
But also with Ceballos as well, if he started play, he demands the ball, no matter what, defensively or offensively, he demands that ball. He'll chase the ball literally until he gets it.
And the same could be said of Willock. With a good manager and coach working with him day in, day out, he's going to be a top class midfielder as well. So, but basically, overall, are we missing anyone? I don't think we are we? From Liverpool?
What midfield? I think now
They play 4-3-3, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, because they supplement that. They actually work around their three attacking players, surprisingly.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're just as strong as them, if not stronger, in midfield.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about players all on form, our front three of Pepe, Lacazette, and Aubameyang. I'm sorry, but it's very, very comparable. Very comparable.
Yeah.
Salah had that amazing season where everything he hit just went in. He ain't the same this season. He weren't quite the same last season. He got 20 odd goals last season. Aubameyang.
He was hitting miss last, and this season he hasn't really done anything.
And Mane, today, did you see him again? Throw himself on the floor, flip his legs back up.
Yeah.
Throw himself on the floor. I fucking hate that.
At least he got booked for it this time.
Yeah.
He got done for it this time.
If you compare Pepe last season, if you compare Pepe's performance last season, because we've only got a very small sample size this season, versus Mane, it's got it. I'm not being funny, but again, it's got to be very close, isn't it?
I say so.
People are quite rightly raised about Mane, but he's
the only thing about Mane is, as you touched on, is his way of going down so easily. So we say that's that negative thing you can pull up on him at the moment.
Yeah.
Other than that, and the thing is, Pepe isn't doing that, so you'd have to. I don't want to come across biased. That's why I would lean towards Pepe, just because he isn't throwing himself to the floor every 5 minutes.
No, exactly. And he's got a lot to his game. He really has. But as soon as he hits form, take him out of the team. For fuck's sake. But
that's Arsenal. Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make is that our squad is fairly comparable with the Liverpool squad, apart from a really commanding centre half. Our two fullbacks are going to be pretty comparable with their fullbacks, and
when they get full fitness, yeah.
The massive difference is a manager who has got a fucking plan and knows what he's doing. So if we had a good
style of play,
if we had a manager that could instill that, there's absolutely no way that you know what? At the beginning of the season, at the end of last season, beginning of this season, right before a ball had been kicked, the season Liverpool had last year was on the back of the previous season when they were 21, was it, or 22 points behind City the season before.
22, I think it's 22. I'll have to double check when we get off here.
And they finished 1 point behind them last season. They clawed back 21 points, I think.
Yeah.
Now, my point was, at the beginning of this season, before a ball had been kicked, that it's not beyond the realms of possibility that Liverpool this season could have another brilliant season, but not finish on 97 points again. They could finish on perhaps, say, 82 points, which would class as a great season under normal circumstances. So that's say drop 15 points, but still be, have a really good quality season. It should have been at the beginning of this season, before a ball had been kicked, with the summer that we had, to make up 15 points from last season. You imagine how many points we dropped at the end of the season when we capitulated, when we had third in our hands, the last 6 or 7 games. 15 points sounds a lot, but it's 5 games, it's 5 wins.
Literally, yeah.
So no one can tell me, right, that Liverpool could have a normal season rather than a superhuman season where they got 97 points. There's no one can tell me at the beginning of this season, if we had a decent manager, we couldn't have clawed back the gap, the same that they did the season before. That's what's so fucking frustrating, that we're not a million miles away from Liverpool's squad. I'm sorry, I don't care what anyone says. They play like a well-oiled machine. Everyone knows what the jobs that they're doing. And they don't chop and change their formation or their personnel. They're settled. If they're fit, they play. They don't change their back four unless of injury. They don't change their front three unless of injury. The only time that they sort of rotate at all is the midfield because of the amount of work that they have to do. So if we had a manager that did the same, stuck to a formation, stuck to a style of play and forced our style of play on the opposition, there's no way that we couldn't have clawed back a lot of points this season. And that's why I'm so fucking angry, because we're wasting a great squad of players. We're wasting them. That's my dog.
I think it's a green.
I know. Right, hang on a second, mate. Hang on 1 second.
Yeah, no worries. Oh, dear.
Right, anyway. I'm sure that you probably are knackered. We've been going on an hour and 3/4, considering it was an unplanned podcast. We'd probably call it a day.
Okay.
But it'd be good talking to you. Good to be able to vent. There's nothing worse than being on your own. My missus has gone out with her mates tonight on the town, so I had no one to vent to. So I appreciate your time, mate, and it's been very therapeutic.
And vice versa, because literally I was just stewing all evening.
Have you? What's your situation?
It's been the worst day ever as well, because obviously I'm a rugby fan, and England got battered this morning.
What was the final score?
And then on the way it was, I think now,
32.
20 points.
No,
it's 32-12. Yeah, 32 points to 12.
I thought it was. Well, that's what I saw.
Yeah, and
I don't follow
that. Obviously, but I had that this morning, so I was like, okay. Went to the football, weren't expecting much. Then obviously what happened. And then literally halfway home, because I'm on Piccadilly, my connection is literally straight through from Holloway Road all the way to Hatton Cross. And about halfway home, literally the train stopped because of signalling for about 40 minutes. Couldn't go anywhere.
It wasn't. What's his name from the Bird Camp Wonderland?
Jason.
No. The black guy who works on the tube. Got out my head. Got out my head. It might have been him.
It'll come to us. We'll go offline. It'll come to us. But yeah.
I know. He might have just had such a crap day himself that he thought, "Fuck this! I'm going to grind the whole of London to a halt."
Oh dear.
Anyway, yeah. So I'll speak to you soon again, mate. Thanks very much for coming on again.
No worries.
And
yeah, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
No problem. Anytime. You're always welcome. So I'll speak to you soon, mate. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Take care. Thanks everyone. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll catch you again soon.
Bye.